But no, we haven't travelled well to Germany, but that does need to change. We need a glory night, we need a special night here in Frankfurt.
Come on! Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping well. So up at 4 AM this morning, Frankfurt away in the Europa League, quarter-final, second leg. Huge game for Spurs, of course. It has been a very, very poor league season. All of our hopes and dreams are pinned on this competition for this season for any chance of silverware. Heung-min Son is the only player that hasn't travelled, but other than that, Ange Postecoglou has a fully fit squad to choose from. It's going to be a hostile atmosphere, but I'm hoping it is going to be a special night in Frankfurt. So now in Frankfurt, a very quick and easy flight from Heathrow to Frankfurt. Now on the way to the stadium to do a quick media interview. It is quite a walk though, got to follow these signs. I remember coming here a couple of years ago when of course Tottenham played Frankfurt in the Champions League, and I was last here last summer when Germany hosted Switzerland in the Euros. You know, the game is all about the glory, and let's hope that Spurs can go through to the semi-finals, and let's hope that Spurs can lift the trophy this year.
Well, Chris, all the best tonight. Get behind them, and we'll speak soon. Thank you very much. Feels like make or break time for Ange Postecoglou, doesn't it? Tottenham will need to win in Frankfurt to keep their season alive. The first leg finished 1-1, and this is their last chance of winning a trophy. So let's speak to Chris Cowlin from the Spurs Chat podcast. Chris, thanks for taking the time to join us. You're out in Germany. What's the atmosphere been like, and how are the nerves?
Well, of course, it is a very nervy game, Will. Thanks for having me on, by the way. Yeah, it's a massive game for Tottenham. It's a massive game for Ange Postecoglou. And, of course, it is a massive game for us Spurs fans because, as I always say, trophies are way, way overdue at Tottenham Hotspur, and the league position
is absolutely dismal. It's going to probably go down as the worst league season in the Premier League era for Tottenham. And this is what it's all about now, the Europa League, our last chance of winning a trophy. The chance of Ange Postecoglou keeping hold of his job, because there is a lot of discontent amongst the fan base right now. But I would say that the overall mood in the fan base at the moment, we're all nervous about this game. We all want to go through to the semi-finals, but consistency has been a big problem this season. We have seen a handful of games where Spurs have played extremely well and we've picked up really good results. But in Europe, it's very difficult going away from home. We know what the atmosphere is going to be like today in Frankfurt, but these players need to step up. They need to give absolutely everything, and Ange Postecoglou needs to deliver, because he's got all of his squad back, all but Heung-min Son. He's gone on so often about players being out injured and having players unavailable, but Kulusevski for me this evening is going to be absolute key. But as I say, the players need to step up, and Ange Postecoglou needs to deliver. And also the fans need to get behind the team this evening.
Yeah, we just saw the Spurs fans enjoying the local things on offer, the Steins. I don't want to keep you long in the hotel room. You need to get out there and enjoy it, Chris. But Ange, ahead of this one, has said he doesn't care about the speculation around his future. Do you like that take from Mr. Postecoglou, or is the pressure starting to mount, starting to get to him?
Well, I think it's very fair to say, Will, that he said that he don't mind pressure. He actually thrives on it. But whenever the media have put difficult questions to him, and whenever the fan base have questioned him, he has become extremely grumpy now. And the pressure really is on Ange Postecoglou, because the recent performances, the recent results, you look at the Wolves' performance and the result, Fulham, Chelsea, these away games have really struggled away from home. But Postecoglou now needs to deliver. He said that, that famous line, always deliver a trophy in my second season. Well, this is the last opportunity to do that. But he has lost, the confidence by a lot of the fan base week by week, which is really sad to see. But I would love to see Ange Postecoglou prove everyone wrong. I'd love to see him put this trophy in the cabinet. But from what we've seen in recent weeks and months in some of these games, it just hasn't been good enough. So I just hope that he can motivate these players to get a result this evening.
He's lost the majority of the fan base. I mean, I'm just thinking back to that game against Bournemouth, where, we saw the footage and we saw Postecoglou exchange his thoughts with some of the Spurs fans. That was back in December. We're in April now. I mean, would you say that he has lost all of them? Are there some Spurs fans still with him?
Well, from the podcast that I record a couple of times a week, we gauge a lot of the fans' thoughts on there. And, a lot of people are still with him. I would say the majority aren't. But that's why I said I love the fact that, if he could prove everyone wrong and put a trophy in the cabinet, it would be great to see. But I feel like he has been extremely moody towards the fans. I don't see that he is... I've been talking about the fans in the previous couple of press conferences, and you need the fans on board. But such an important game this evening, I would hope that the fan base do get behind the team. I know there is a lot of frustration with the manager. There is a lot of frustration with the players. There's a lot of frustration with the board. And a lot of fans have been arguing amongst themselves this season. It's a very, very difficult situation that we're all in at the moment. But we just need to try and put this trophy in the cabinet, because the thought of no European football at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next year, is a dismal one.
And if Spurs do go out tonight, I hope they don't for your sake, Chris, but if they do, will the Postecoglou Remainers turn?
As I said, I think that Postecoglou has lost fans week by week, and I feel like this would probably be the final nail in the coffin if we did go out this evening. But my question and my worry would be what next, because in the last 7 years or so we've gone round in circles. Some people would say that we've even gone backwards. I feel like the club need to show more ambition, and we need to do a lot more in transfer windows to back managers, and do a lot more, because a club like Spurs, we should not be without a trophy since 2008. We've gone through multiple different managers, and a lot of the fan base just want to see a lot more ambition. And as I said, if we're not playing European football next season, that would be dreadful.
Let's finish on a positive note. Chris, come on, before you get out there and join those Spurs fans. Look, you win this game tonight. You're a game away from a final. Postecoglou keeps his promise of winning things in the second season. You keep Ugo Ekitike quiet. Can you see all of this happening tonight? Look, there's still reason for optimism.
Look, if I felt all doom and gloom, there's no way I'd have got up at 4 a.m. this morning and travelled out to Frankfurt to watch this game. So I live in hope. I'm a very positive fan. Always try to be positive about my club, and I just want to see a special night. You know, I was there in Amsterdam back in 2019. You know, we know that miracles can happen. We know that, you know, special glory nights can happen, and you know, the game is all about the glory. And let's hope that Spurs can go through to the semi-finals, and let's hope that Spurs can lift the trophy this year.
Well, Chris, all the best tonight. Get behind them, and we'll speak soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There we go.
Aus Frankfurt.
Kein Dortmund und kein FC Bayern mehr vertreten in der Champions League. Ein Bundesligist mischt allerdings noch mit im Europapokal, und das ist Eintracht Frankfurt. Heute Abend heißt es Viertelfinal-Rückspiel gegen Tottenham in Frankfurt, und die Ausgangslage, die ist ganz angenehm für die Eintracht. 1:1 im Hinspiel.
Wir sind auch total heiß auf dieses Spiel und wir freuen uns ohne Ende. Wir haben uns eine überragende Ausgangslage erarbeitet in der Liga und jetzt auch für dieses Spiel. Und jetzt haben wir letzte Woche auch wieder so eine Art Feuertaufe gehabt, in dem Stadion dort dann auch zu bestehen, mit dem Ergebnis dann zurückzukommen. Und jetzt hier zu Hause wollen wir halt mit aller Macht ins Finale. Und ich habe da auch ehrlicherweise jetzt zumindest, was deine Frage betrifft, dass es uns irgendwie vielleicht ein Stück weit lähmt, das glaube ich nicht. Wir müssen halt schauen, dass wir vielleicht nicht direkt überpacen, aber dafür werden wir dann schon sorgen.
Es geht um den Einzug ins Europa League Halbfinale, und wir gehen jetzt rüber nach Frankfurt an den Ort des Geschehens heute Abend in der Europa League. Und Dennis, wen hast du bei dir?
Chris Cowlin heißt der gute Mann, kommt aus Tottenham hier rüber nach Frankfurt. Also die Eintracht hofft ja so ein bisschen auf den Heimvorteil, auf diese Stimmung im Stadion hier. Chris hat das Ganze schon erlebt, der war nämlich schon mal hier bei einem Spiel. Chris, welcome to Frankfurt. How was the atmosphere today in the city? Wie war die Atmosphäre in der Stadt heute?
Good evening. It's great. The atmosphere is great. Of course, all of us Tottenham Hotspur fans love a European away day, and of course, it is a big game this evening here in Frankfurt. And let's hope that Spurs go through to the semi-finals.
Also die Stimmung war gut, und die Tottenham-Fans, die mögen Auswärtsspiele, auch wenn die Statistik eigentlich gar nicht so gut aussieht. Wenn sie ihr Heimspiel verloren haben, nur 1 von 10 Mal weitergekommen. In den letzten 19 Europa League Auswärtsspielen nur ein einziges Mal zu 0, das war gegen Karabakh Akdam. The statistics is so bad for Tottenham on the road. They had 19 games, just one without conceding a goal, just had one win over 10 away games when they didn't win at home. What do you think about that?
Well, thanks for those stats. I was feeling a little bit more positive, but after that, no, of course, this season we haven't travelled well at all in Europe and in the Premier League. And, you know, Spurs are sitting 15th in the Premier League table, so this competition is the only competition now that Spurs can win. But no, we haven't travelled well to Germany, but that does need to change. We need a glory night, we need a special night here in Frankfurt today, and the problem with Spurs so far this season is we've been very inconsistent, both at home and away, particularly away from home. But the atmosphere is going to be electric here. I've been here before a couple of years ago in the Champions League, and I came here last year as well in the Euros, and I know what this stadium can bring with the fans, but Spurs need to be on top of their game today, and Postecoglou, the manager, needs to get these players motivated, and these players need to step up and perform.
Also sagt, dass Tottenham sich auswärts sehr, sehr schwer tut, dass sie vor allem in dieser Saison sich generell schwer tun, dass sie heute eine ganz außergewöhnliche Nacht brauchen gegen Eintracht Frankfurt und ich habe es schon angesprochen, Chris kennt die Atmosphäre. Er hat gesagt, die war Wahnsinn, wenn er hier war. Sie war elektrisierend. Welchen Einfluss wird diese Atmosphäre heute auf beide Mannschaften haben? What do you think? What influence will this atmosphere has on both teams?
Well, I feel like the home team is definitely, advantage for Frankfurt to have the second leg here at home, especially with this atmosphere. But Tottenham need to block it out. These young players tonight need to block the atmosphere out and completely concentrate on the game. It's very, very important that Spurs do not concede an early goal here because, of course, it is going to give the crowd a huge lift. If anything, Spurs need to get the early goal and quieten this crowd down.
Also die einzige Möglichkeit, die ihr seht, ist, dass Tottenham hier ein frühes Tor schießt und die Massen wieder zur Ruhe bringt. Das Schlimmste, was passieren könnte, wäre ein frühes Gegentor, denn dann ist hier dieser Deutsche Bank Park mal richtig on fire. Über Harry Kane haben wir gerade hinter der Kamera schon ein bisschen gesprochen, da habe ich fast ein kleines Tränchen gesehen bei Chris, deswegen tue ich ihm das jetzt nicht an und frage lieber nach Matistel. Chris, we talked about Harry Kane, I nearly saw you crying a little bit, so I don't want to hurt you anymore, besides the statistics. Let's talk about another guy from Germany who moved to Tottenham, or came from Germany to Tottenham, Matistel. How do you see him so far?
Well, and Harry Kane, we really do miss him. We'd love to see him back in the Tottenham Hotspur shirt one day. But Matisse Tel, yes, we've seen glimpses of magic from him. I feel like there's so much more to come from him. He's still a young player. Got a big price tag if Spurs do take the option to buy him on a permanent deal in the summer. And, of course, if he wants to stay. But he's a young player with lots of potential. I feel like Spurs have got a lot of those types of players at the moment. And Tottenham really do need players for the now. So it's going to be an interesting one to see whether that deal actually gets done or not.
Also ein Spieler mit viel Potenzial, der aber immer nur kleine Parts davon gezeigt hat, mit einem sehr, sehr hohen Preisschild und Tottenham hat davon schon ein paar. Also ich höre raus, Chris ist nicht so der ganz große Fan, aber jetzt willst du doch nochmal kurz zurückkommen. You told us you'd love to see Harry Kane back in the Spurs jersey. Do you think that will happen and what would that mean to that team?
You never know in football. Of course, Harry Kane wants that Premier League record. He wants Alan Shearer's record, and I believe that he will come back in the Premier League one day. Whether it will be for Spurs one day, that's another thing. We live in hope. We love him. Spurs, of course, our record goal scorer. And, I'd love to see him play back in the Premier League.
Also, we live in hope, wir leben in Hoffnung, wir haben die Hoffnung, sagt er, dass Harry Kane irgendwann wieder zurückkommt und das würden sie natürlich alle feiern, das würde jeden freuen bei Tottenham. Ich glaube, die Bayern-Fans sehen das ein bisschen anders. Chris, wish you a pleasant game, ich wünsche dir ein schönes Spiel und damit gehen wir zurück zu euch nach München. Hier fängt es gerade ein bisschen an mit Regnen, also englisches Wetter, vielleicht ist es ja ein Omen für die Tottenham-Fans.
Dankeschön, Dennis. Wir sind gespannt, wer von beiden Teams dann heute Abend zaubern wird in Frankfurt. Europa League Viertelfinale Teil 2. Dankeschön. Ja, und hier hätten Sie sich gerne...
So look at this wonderful training pitch right next to the stadium.
Only a gift for you. Only a gift for you. It's a gift. I know. What? I don't know. Get the power. Start wearing. I got to take a look at that. I have the worst unit. Oh, it's really good.
geht unsere Reise durch Europa hier und heute Abend zu Ende. Aber, liebe Freunde, morgen ist Feiertag. Bleibt noch einen Moment bei uns im Stadion. Wir können stolz sein, wie sich unsere junge Mannschaft sich selbst und unseren Verein international präsentiert hat. Bleibt noch einen Moment da. Verlasst nicht das Stadion. Lasst sie uns noch einmal gemeinsam aufbauen. Wir gewinnen zusammen und wir verlieren zusammen. Das ist Eintracht Frankfurt.
Congratulations, Ange. You must be delighted with the maturity of your team tonight.
Yeah, I'm delighted with many things, and yeah, super proud of the lads. Look, you know, you're playing away from home. quarter-final against a very good side. You know, you're going to have to work really hard and be well organised and disciplined, and also, you know, we needed to score tonight, so we needed to show the quality we have as well. And to a man, I just thought they were outstanding. So proud of them that, you know, in such a big game, they delivered a performance that, you know, means we're through to the semi-final. And, you know, I think over the two legs, I think we deserve to go through. You know, tie could well have been over in the first leg, but again, we've earned the right to be in the semi.
Gary.
After a difficult season with injuries, etc., do you kind of have a sixth sense that Tottenham's name might be on this trophy?
No, I don't think that way. But you know, from our perspective, look, you know, we've had a difficult season. I think there's some reasoning behind that, you know, which was pretty evident tonight. That, you know, when we got our strongest team out there, a lot of the things that we've sort of suffered with this year, I'm sure we wouldn't have, because you know, the spine of our team, you know, at times Vicario, Romero, Van der Ven, Bentancur, Solanke, like these guys, we were missing all of them at different times this year. And you know, when we've got the whole group, and it's not just them, it's the whole group together, you know, we know that we can be a team that's you know, pretty compelling against anybody. And you know, we're in the final four now, so we give ourselves a chance. Jay.
Hi, Ange. Congratulations. I saw you walk down the tunnel at the end of the game with your arm around James Maddison. Just wanted to check in on how he's doing after what happened.
Yeah, he's fine. Unbelievable courage in that moment. You know, to put his body on the line, knowing full well he was going to, you know, cop a pretty severe knock. I mean, I was surprised it wasn't a red card, but yeah, super courageous from him. And look, he's sore, but I'm sure that's all been numbed, knowing that you know, he's helped us progress to a semi.
Matt. Hello, Ange. I was going to ask you about that as well. Are you warming to VAR tonight? Are you pleased with the intervention, or are you still a bit cross that it wasn't a red card?
Oh, well, you know, I mean, we can be a bit sort of facetious about that, Matt, but I thought it was a clear penalty. I'm not sure why it needed VAR. I mean, when a player wins the ball and it gets cleaned up, if that was a defender, it would definitely be probably a red card. Now, it's a goalkeeper, so maybe, but it's definitely a penalty. I don't think it needed a review. So, again, I think we got what we deserved.
George.
Hi, and congratulations. You've always had belief in this squad and this team, but I'm guessing you probably couldn't say really strongly, you know, to everyone you're going to win the Europa League before this two ties. How much confidence do you have in this squad now to go all the way and deliver what the fans have wanted for so long?
Well, look, I mean, I think, you know, we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. You know, we're in the semi-final, and you know, we're going to have a difficult opponent in the semi. But it's not about my belief in the team. I think what's more important is the belief the team's had. You know, because after a season like ours, it would be very easy for the players and the staff to, you know, I've said before, you know, that they could have left me in a pretty vulnerable place in terms of, you know, them splintering at any. But I've never felt that. You know, with all the noise around you know, our season, you know, they've been so united in believing in what we're trying to achieve here, and that's what gave me heart all along. That, you know, if we got our own little bit of slice of luck in terms of just getting some players back, that, you know, I really believe that this team, you know, could achieve, and that's what, you know, keeps driving me. It's not so much my belief in them; it's their belief in what we're doing, and. Both, you know, and the players and staff have just been outstanding. Like I said, you know, I'm the front man for it, but you know, they take responsibility for it as well, for all my decisions and everything I do. But not at any stage have I felt that they've lost any belief in me or what we're doing, and that's just crucial when you're having a difficult season. But there's also a season of opportunity there.
Ryan, to finish, please.
Hi, and congratulations. I just wanted to ask about your own kind of personal feelings. Obviously, it's no secret it's been a tough season, and coming into this game, it must have been quite tough having to deal with all the noise. So to win in the manner in which you did, how are you kind of feeling? Is there relief or?
I think I said yesterday, I'm the same manager today that I was yesterday. So if people think that us winning tonight makes me a better manager, whoever didn't think I was doing a good job yesterday should be feeling the same way today. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect what I do. For me, it's always about the dressing room, you know. Do the players believe? Do the staff believe? That's much more important than what others may, you know, make of me. So, unfortunately for a lot of you, you're going to have to put up with me for a little bit longer, mate. So we'll just see how that goes. All right. Thank you very much.